Hi, Colin. How have you been?
Hi, Karthik. I'm good. How are you?
Good too.
You're good too? Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing here today?
We have just a bunch of astrologers. I think this is our first podcast, right? So
Yes. We're starting a
I
brand
think
new YouTube channel,
yeah, the Hidden Ascendant,
The Hidden Ascendant.
and yeah,
That's
to
quite
the
powerful. I don't know what you thought about the title, but I really liked The Hidden Ascendant. It felt
yeah,
intriguing and there's
very
power to it.
Scorpio. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
very research based.
Yes, we got inspired of Scorpio, and we thought it's the only sign, not the only sign, but it felt very mysterious. And we're both
Yeah,
Scorpio moon people, so we decided to name the channel The Hidden Ascendant. Yeah.
yeah,
So before we get into any topic, really, of I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we are Vedic astrologers, and we love astrology. So before we get into any topics of astrology in the podcast, it would be nice if we can introduce ourselves. So, Karthik, let us know who are you and just a brief intro.
yeah. I'm a professional astrologer, and I take consultations as well. Been doing this for quite some time now, few years. And more than just being an astrologer, I'm very curious. So I constantly do my research um, in this space.
Mm.
And otherwise, I'm very spiritual. So I get into reading a lot of Puranas and
Wow.
Mahabharata and that kind of thing, and look for evidence with whatever I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important for me, so that I'm conveying something that's not just, a figment of my own, you know, imagination, but more has a more scriptural basis that comes from the Vedic scriptures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very nice. And to give a bit of background on my end, so my name is Kolen. I'm also a Vedic astrologer. Um, I do profess it professionally. I do take consultations. And like you, I also do a lot of research. I've also written several articles, um, and they were also published in the Astrological magazine. That was backed by B.V. Raman, the famous astrologer, and yeah, I love astrology. Um, I've always felt um, that God and a lot of things that happen in our lives, I've always felt there was a reason to them, and somehow I got dragged into astrology, and ever since I entered, uh, there's no way to go back. I'm always constantly learning new things, and it's a beautiful journey, and um, I'm happy that we can share this with the world now with this new channel. And yeah, I'm also an engineer, and yeah, um, astrology has really awakened a huge a part of my life that was hidden this whole time. So I'm very happy about that, and I would love to share that with everyone. So yeah, so I'm happy
That's
with.
good to hear.
Thank you, Karthik. So
And yeah, Colin is from Canada.
yes,
He was born and brought up there, and I'm from India,
yeah,
born and brought up in India.
yes,
So that's why you can see the. Um, he was raised in Canada. He
yeah,
grew up in Canada.
yeah, exactly.
So um, that's why the accent for the Indian viewers, it's not a put on. It's not a put on accent.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was born in Canada. My parents immigrated here. But yeah, and I don't know, like,
yeah,
because usually people don't get into astrology that much in Canada. I don't know people in my surroundings, but I'm very happy I got dragged into it. It changed my life forever, so I'm very grateful.
likewise.
Yeah. All right. So I think for the first podcast, we should get into like a brief introduction for new viewers, people who
Yeah,
are beginners in astrology. Maybe we can give a basic overview just to um, you know
get them
get
familiar. Yeah,
yeah, exactly, get familiar, give them an idea so that maybe they can dig deeper later on their own, or it could help them with the understandings in the following podcasts.
yeah,
But yeah, like essentially, in our YouTube channel, we're trying to do a lot of things. We're trying to go through several deeper topics later on. Definitely, we're gonna analyze many charts. That's the whole idea. But in this particular podcast, it would be nice if we can go through, for example, the different zodiac signs that exist. How are they ruled? What's their nature? Just to get our feet a bit wet, and get the flow going. What do you think?
right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be very useful.
So like when
And
you
we'd be explaining this with the South Indian chart, right?
yeah, exactly.
So we do have the North Indian style chart and the South Indian style chart.
Yeah.
The predictions don't differ. It's just the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
The North Indian charts are usually uh, they are shaped like a diamond,
Yeah.
but our learning happened on the South Indian chart, so we'd be using that.
Yeah. Nothing really differs. Like all the planetary positions in both charts are the same, South or North Indian charts. Basically, it's just the style, the visual that's different.
Right. And
Um,
the way we interpret houses, like in the South Indian chart, we have the Rashis fixed,
mhm.
the zodiac signs are fixed, whereas the house or the Lagna moves.
Yeah.
But in the North Indian chart, it's the other way around. The houses are fixed, one, two, three, four, five, six,
Mm-hmm.
but the Rashis move across the houses uh, based on the person's ascendant.
Yeah. So now we're throwing a lot of terminologies.
Yeah,
But before we get there, like when you see this the South Indian chart, what do
yeah,
you see first? Because when I look at this, I see the center that's empty. There is like a white square there. What is that positioning? What does that mean to you? Before we get to the different boxes around that white square.
yeah, yeah. That's very interesting. So the white space is in fact your location of birth.
Hmm.
If this happens to be the chart of a person,
Yeah.
location simply means you can call it the earth.
Earth. Yeah.
And furthermore, if you were to zoom in, then the country of your birth,
Hmm.
then furthermore, the city of your birth.
Yeah.
That's that's the greatest extent to which I think, we don't see further, we don't zoom further than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But essentially, this is a picture of where Earth is in the center and where all the other planets are around Earth, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
the zodiacs.
and the zodiacs, yes.
But this doesn't mean that the Earth is in the center of the solar system,
No, no, no.
but this only means that it is the point of view
View.
or point of observation.
Exactly.
So, because I'm standing in, say, on the Earth, in my city,
Yeah,
I look at the world from where I stand
yeah,
rather than, put mentally picture the sun in the center and look at the entire solar system and try to do the analysis.
yeah,
That becomes complex. So,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, this whole analysis of planets are done from the view from Earth and not from Sun. Because naturally, it
yeah,
would make sense that you're looking at the planetary positions from Sun because the Sun is in the center of the solar system. But our rishis found that there is a relationship with the planets in our lives when we look at it, when we look at their relationships between the planets when we view them from Earth. So yeah, that was the first important point to go through. I felt.
yeah,
And how many planets are there in Vedic astrology?
yeah. Before getting into that,
Yeah,
let's discuss, is Sun really a planet? I think it's a star, right?
that's true.
Is
Yeah,
it a star?
I think it
But why
is.
do we call it a planet?
I mean, it's not planet the real term. It's graha, right? Because
Right, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, it's even Rahu Ketu. They're literally points. They are not
right.
visible to our eyes, but we consider
Yeah,
them as graha. So yeah, we can have different terminologies, but at the end of the day, it's more like
yeah,
an entity having they're exerting some kind of influence in our lives due to our karmic events,
right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
that's
So
perfect.
that's the reason, because when we converse in English, we have a lack of a better word, I think, for a graha.
Yeah,
So we just say planet,
yeah,
and we don't consider sun to be a star. Um, Also,
yeah,
in Vedic astrology, but it's definitely not a planet like we look by going by the definition of what a planet is from the science textbook. But graha simply means grinhati iti graha, something that has akarshana or force of attraction.
yeah,
So every celestial object that has a force of attraction towards itself and of other planets and also like whatever exists is called as a graha. So that's why moon also becomes a graha, sun also becomes a graha, and we just call it a planet for convenience. And Rahu Ketu also becomes a graha because they're in fact the nodes or the shadows at the time of eclipse.
yeah,
Those shadows are called Rahu Ketu and they're called Chaya Graha. Chaya means shadow. I think in Hindi also people say chow.
ciao.
So, yeah, chaya is shadow, and chaya graha means a shadowy planet.
Hmm.
So, not a
Interesting.
planet, shadowy graha. But it does have a force field, right, in the nodes.
Yeah,
That's why the moon, uh, reaches those nodes.
yeah,
So, that's what a graha means. So it's really not a planet.
Yeah.
But we, for the sake of it, we would call it a planet going forward, just so that it becomes easier for us to, um, discuss further.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I don't think I mentioned Graha a lot, so yeah, I'm also going to use planet. But how many planets are there, or how many Grahas are there in Vedic astrology?
Including the Sun and Moon and Rahu Ketu, we have nine.
Right. Do you
But when we
consider.
correlate,
Hmm?
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, because some astrologers consider Neptune, Uranus, and maybe Pluto. Do you
Yeah,
consider them in your analysis?
I don't,
You don't,
but
right?
it's not that you shouldn't.
Yeah,
But in traditional Vedic astrology, it stops at Saturn,
exactly. Yeah.
simply because I think beyond Saturn,
Hmm.
it's not that Vedic astrology doesn't know that there are planets.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to stars, we don't consider a lot of stars that um, otherwise in the Vedic tradition is used for other purposes.
Right.
It's only because these planets have a substantial amount of effect,
Mm.
as per the Rishis, on our lives when it comes to astrological study.
Yeah.
And that's why we consider these. But there's no harm in it. There are other styles of astrology or other astrology from other countries that do use them, and that's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, in the screen that we're sharing, right beside the chart, we have listed all the grahas that are known to the traditional Vedic astrology. So there is Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu. And just to give a quick idea, how to visualize Rahu and Ketu. So basically, Rahu is like the head of a serpent. Some people consider it as the serpent. Some people say it's the head of a demon. And then Ketu is the remainder of the body without the head. Um, but yeah, essentially, these are all the grahas that influence or have an impact in traditional Vedic astrology. Yeah.
Right.
So now, what is uh, a rashi? What is a zodiac belt, and what is each box representing? All the boxes that are surrounding the white square. What's the? Is there a degree for each box? What is each box? I want to know, cause, or at least let's help the viewer understand
Yeah. Yeah.
what each box
So,
are.
when we look at the sky, there are a lot of stars,
Yeah.
right? And in school, we studied that they are grouped in a way where they form certain patterns,
Hmm.
and we call that pattern by a name.
Yeah.
Now, what gets interesting with Vedic astrology is the group is further grouped and further grouped, as in they have subgroups.
Yeah.
So even in the modern traditional scientific space of astronomy, we do have these zodiacs, right?
Yeah.
They're grouped in such a way: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and there are many more than these 12.
Yeah.
So it is in the Vedic space, but we consider only 12 of them. There are a lot of zodiac signs, I think 88 or something. Amongst them, we consider 12
Yeah.
for our analysis because those are the ones that are used for predictions and are said to have an influence on human life and life on Earth
Yeah.
in a more in how do I put it? The influences are beyond physical influences like climate and that kind of a thing. They may have influences on a more tangible personal level. That's what the rishis say.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm sure many people heard of the different zodiac signs, but the first that comes up is the Aries, right? In
Yeah,
fact, in Vedic astrology, the natural first sign is the Aries, and
yeah.
when we call it there is a natural
Mesha
system.
Rashi.
Yeah, Mesha Rasi, yeah, exactly, which is Aries in
Yeah,
English, and it's based off of the Kala Prusha, basically the limbs of Vishnu, and Aries represents the head of Kala Prusha,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Aries in Vedic astrology in the chart, or actually every box covers 30 degrees of the zodiac belt, right?
Right,
So if the starting point of Aries is 0, at the end of I don't know if you can use your cursor, Kartik, just to show. Um,
yeah, sure.
yeah, if you bring the cursor at the beginning of Aries, uh, at the left, the beginning of the square on the left end. Bring it to the left a
Yeah,
bit. Yeah,
yeah,
here. If this is point zero, 0 degrees, and if you move to the end of the box, it, it goes to 30 degrees. So essentially,
yeah,
the natural first sign on the zodiac belt is Aries, and it starts at 0 degrees and ends at 30 degrees, right? And the second sign is Taurus, which goes from 30 degrees to 60 degrees, and then Gemini from 60 to 90, and then Cancer from 90 to 120 degrees, and then Leo from 120 to 150 degrees, and then Virgo from 150 to 180 degrees, and Libra from 180 to 210 degree, and then Scorpio from 210 degrees to 240 degrees, and then Sagittarius from 240 to 270 degrees, and then
yeah,
Capricorn from 270 to 300 degrees, and then Aquarius 300 to 330 degrees, and finally Pisces 330 degrees to 360, the whole circle of the zodiac, and we come back to point
yeah,
zero at Aries.
yeah,
And yeah, Aries represents the head of Kalaprusha, the limbs of Vishnu, and and if if you go backwards, Pisces is the feet of the Kalaprusha. So basically, all the other signs are the different limbs between the head and the feet that cover the remaining.
yeah,
So Taurus, for example, represents the neck, right? Or
yeah.
the face.
The
It's
face.
more the
Yeah.
face, and Gemini is more the throat, right? And
It's
Cancer,
the arms,
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 and
heart,
also throat and some,
stomach.
or maybe Taurus is more face and throat, and then Gemini is
Yeah,
arms. Cancer
yeah.
is like the chest,
Heart.
yeah,
Yeah.
heart. Leo is also heart, but it can also,
Stomach and heart. Yeah. In
yes,
between that.
in between,
Yeah.
yeah. and then etc. Um, like Virgo is
yeah,
more like stomach and digestive system.
yeah,
Libra and Scorpio is
yeah,
more your private parts,
hmm,
urinary tracts, you know.
yeah,
Sagittarius can be like the thighs. Um, Capricorn can represent the maybe your knees.
yeah,
But essentially, yeah, and then the legs for Aquarius, and then finally Pisces is the feet.
yeah,
But yeah, so these are the natural signs representing different parts of the body. And this is important to know because you will see that we're going to use the natural signs later on when we do analysis. And for example, someone, a native that have heart issues, right away we can check if there is any bad influences in Cancer or Leo. It gives an idea that they might have heart issues, for example. So that this is why it's important to know the natural signs, the limbs of Vishnu, the Kala Purusha, and yep. So and then in the visual that I'm seeing, below the different zodiac names, I'm seeing planets. What are they? Why are they there?
yeah. So, okay, that's very interesting. And before we get into that,
Yeah,
I think we'll have to give a little more info on the Rashis as well.
yeah,
The zodiac signs are also called Rashis. Rashi simply means a cluster. A cluster of stars put together is a Rashi, right?
yeah,
Now, in the Vedic space, a Rashi can further be divided into a smaller cluster called Nakshatra.
right.
Oftentimes, we think Nakshatra means one star, but in the Vedic space, Nakshatra means a cluster of stars, and a Tara means one star, or even a smaller cluster. So that's where within a Rashi you have many nakshatras,
Yeah,
and you would have heard this, especially Indians would hear this a lot. When you go to a temple or somewhere, people ask for your nakshatra,
yeah,
and that's called as Janma Nakshatra, or the nakshatra in which you were born.
yeah,
And we'll get into that a little later. But basically, a nakshatra is a part of the Rashi, or a smaller cluster of stars within that Rashi.
yeah. And there are 27 nakshatras, right?
Right,
Um, and in each sign, you can see two or three nakshatras in each zodiac sign.
yeah,
I forget the exact degrees for each nakshatra, but even the nakshatras are even divided further into padas. So you
right,
can have like Ashwini nakshatra, but first pada or second pada. So they're just
yeah,
as smaller subdivisions, but essentially you have 27 nakshatras equally divided among the 12 zodiac signs.
right,
And yeah, so basically at 0 degrees, you have Ashwini nakshatra that starts in Aries, and the last nakshatra will be in Pisces, which is called Revati. So
right,
anyways, we can go through the different nakshatras in another podcast,
right.
or you will see the different nakshatras in chart analysis as well. So I'm not very much concerned
Mm,
in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The core focus, nakshatras are important, especially in other parts of astrology. It may be the advanced astrology, but for now, I think it's the planets that are more important, right?
Yep.
So
I agree. I agree.
that's why we are focusing on the planets more than the nakshatras for now.
Yes. Correct.
for the viewers watching.
Yeah. So you haven't answered my question actually. Maybe you were trying
Uh,
to deflect my question. I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But why are we seeing the different planets in the zodiac signs?
yeah, so this is the Earth, right?
Yep.
This space.
Yep.
And are you able to see my cursor?
Yes, I can see your cursor. Yes.
So assume that this is the Earth and you're standing here
Hmm.
and you look at the space.
Yep.
You look at a lot of stars here. That is what it means.
Hmm.
And that is the South Indian chart.
Yep.
You see all these stars, and all these different stars are grouped together and named differently because of the certain formations they form,
Yep.
both scientifically and in the astrological space.
Yep.
And then when you stand here and look at the space again with a telescope, perhaps, you also see the different planets in space, right?
Right.
Without a telescope, you would probably they would look like a star to you, but when you carefully observe, some of them are planets.
Right.
Now, when it comes to looking at a chart, the planets in the sky from the point of view of the Earth
Hmm.
are somewhat naturally, they feel home when they are in alignment with certain rashis or zodiac signs.
Right.
And based on that, the rishis have, or the people, the elders who gave us these scriptures related to Vedic astrology, have placed them as natural, being natural in certain zodiac signs.
Right.
And that's what this represents, what we're depicting on the screen right now.
Hmm.
And let's start with Cancer and Leo because Sun and the Moon, right?
Yep.
Sun is the main planet or the main celestial object
Hmm.
that's most important for our existence,
Yes.
and therefore Sun is the most prominent of all the celestial objects. Both, even scientifically, that's the case, right? Because Sun is the center of the universe,
Yes.
and everything happens because of the Sun.
Yep.
So, Sun is in Leo or natural in Leo, which means that if you are standing on the earth
Hmm.
and observe the sky, and at any point of time, if you see Sun to be sort of coinciding with Leo
Leo.
from your point of vision,
Yep.
then it means that Sun would be in its natural house.
Yep. So now
And Moon,
you're
yeah,
referring to the rashi or zodiac signs as houses, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is a terminology that we haven't introduced, but
huh,
essentially the rashis are also considered houses. So whenever a planet goes in between the 30 degrees of a zodiac sign, we perceive it as if the planet or the graha is entering that house belonging to the 30 degrees of that zodiac sign. So sorry, it's a small parentheses I just wanted to add. But yeah, go ahead, Karthik.
sure, yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's very important to know.
Yeah.
And the Moon, which is our natural satellite to the Earth,
Mhm.
when the Moon is coinciding with Cancer,
Mhm.
Cancer Rashi,
Yeah.
which is called as Karkataka Rashi in the traditional terminology.
Yeah.
Then it's said to be in its natural mood or natural house, and that's what these two mean.
Yeah.
And I'm starting from here because the sun and the moon belong to only one house in the Vedic zodiac natural zodiac house,
Yes.
whereas all the other planets belong to two houses or two rashis,
Yeah.
or they are more natural when they coincide with two different rashis. And these things are fixed always.
Yeah.
Not the movement of the planets, but how they are natural to a certain zodiac,
Right.
right?
Yeah. So Mercury basically owns Gemini and Virgo. He's the Lord. We also refer to these planets because they're naturally significant to these signs. They become the lords of these signs. So we say Mercury is the Lord of Gemini and Virgo. Same goes for Venus, is the Lord of Taurus and Libra. Mars is the Lord of Aries and Scorpio. Mars basically rules those two signs. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. And finally, Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn. So,
Someone
whenever.
can easily remember this simply um, by going in this order, right to left, right?
Yeah,
Sun
exactly.
and Moon rules only one house,
Yeah,
Sun in Leo
yeah,
and Moon in Cancer,
yeah,
and then Mercury in Gemini and Virgo,
yeah,
Venus in Taurus and Libra, Scorpio in Mars and Aries, Jupiter in Pisces and Sagittarius, and Saturn
yeah,
in Capricorn and Aquarius.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, if Saturn comes in Aquarius, that means he's in his own house, basically. When Moon comes in Cancer, Moon is in his own house.
Mhm.
And in Vedic astrology, every planet can have different states. Like it can be in a weak state or it can be in a very strong state. And when the planet or Graha is in his own house, it's very powerful. He's at the very essence of its capability and it's supposed to produce good results. For example, when Venus is in Taurus or Libra, it's very strong, or very strongly placed.
Yeah.
And I think Mercury is the only one. When it's placed in Virgo, it also becomes exalted, an
Yeah.
exaltation state. So it becomes even more powerful than any other planet who is in its own house. So that's also an important point. But yeah, you will see in later podcasts when we will analyze different charts, there are different states to the grahas. There is also debilitation when a planet is at its weakest point, and yeah, exaltation it's the strongest point. And there's also neutral states. So we will also go through that, but I don't think we'll go through in this podcast because we've already went through a lot of content, so we shouldn't bombard. I think Kartik, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we went through the different lordships and the different
But
zodiac
let's
signs.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we need to also discuss on what we mean by power, natural. So the planet by themselves are not, this is like the perspective from the Earth.
Yeah,
Like Mercury as a planet wouldn't become weak simply because I view Mercury from the Earth.
yeah,
But it's almost like if you have like a tube light or a steady lamp in your room, depending on where you stand, is uh, is what would determine how much of the light you may receive from it. Similarly, depending on where I stand on the earth and where the planet is how I could determine how much of the energy of that planet I would receive. So this is more symbolic than the actual physical quality of the planet in certain. It's not that, from the Earth, if Mercury coincides with Gemini, it's natural. But if I'm, say, standing on Saturn, which is not possible for a human, but say if there was a way to stand on Saturn, Mercury would definitely not coincide with Gemini from that angle of vision,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's not more to do with the planet's original strength. It is more to do with how I receive that strength from where I stand. So this is for the viewers, not to get too technical with that, but this is more like a my point of view of what I am able to get from where I stand, from the planets and the stars, and from various different sources.
yeah. So I think we covered the essentials or basics of what a South Indian chart looks like. Where are the zodiac signs? What is Kalaprusha, the limbs of Vishnu, and where they're located in the chart, and the lordships of every zodiac sign. I think the last
Yeah,
piece that I think would be nice to discuss is the ascendant and the different houses that arise because of the ascendant when a native is born, right?
yeah,
I'm not sure how you would start this, but yeah, it would be nice if you can start this topic off and then I'll continue.
sure.
Yeah.
So when somebody is born on the earth, they're born on the earth, and further, you would say on the earth, they're born in a certain country, and further, you would say in a certain country, they're born in a certain state, and within that state, they're born in a certain city. And you can go on, narrowing down that
Yeah.
and say that, okay, they're born in a certain area or, a certain uh, town or sub-town or the suburb and so on. But for us, what matters is the city of birth.
Right.
And three things primarily matters. The first thing for analyzing a chart, for analyzing a Vedic chart, which is your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth.
Right.
All these three things matter a lot.
Yeah.
Date of birth and time of birth defines the moment of planetary alignment at that point of time, and the place of birth defines how you view the planets at that time.
Right.
And that is how you would define how the symbolic light or the energy of different planets were that a person received at the time of their first breath or birth. So when when a person is born, and if we somehow had a telescope and zoomed into the space from the place where that person was born,
Right.
from the location where that person was born, the eastern rising zodiac sign is called as a Lagna.
Yeah. So basically, at the location at the specific time when the native is born, when we look in the eastern horizon, whatever
Yeah,
zodiac sign we see, that we label it as the ascendant or the first house.
yeah,
Is that correct?
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Ascendant is also called as a Lagna in the traditional terminology, and it's called as ascendant in English, and it's also called as the first house, or it would define the first house.
Yes.
Now, Colin, I have a question
Yeah.
for the, being a viewer.
Yeah.
If Aries is considered as the first house, then what is an ascendant? What's the difference?
Um, so basically, in Kalaprusha, naturally, Eris is considered the first house, and Pisces naturally is the 12th house. So in Kalaprusha, Eris by default represents the head, right? So
Hmm.
if Lagna is also placed in Eris, then there's a strong indication that it's going to represent the head. And naturally, Lagna also represents the body. But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question specifically, but when you match Eris to the first house, there's a strong indication that you're referring to the head. But yeah,
Right. But what's the difference between, say, if Leo is my first house in a chart
yeah,
versus Aries being the first house that we discussed about?
yeah,
By the way, a lot of people, so here, if you look at a South Indian chart
yeah,
or even a North Indian chart or East Indian, whatever Vedic chart, you'd see that the first house is marked with something like this, with probably in some charts they use a dash at the bottom, an inclined dash at the bottom,
yeah,
or sometimes they have two of them this way,
right,
or sometimes they would just say ASC, which is short for ascendant,
yeah.
or some of them would even like write um,
LA,
Lagna or LA or something,
yeah,
which all means the same thing.
yeah,
So that says that in your specific chart, that is the first house for your chart.
yeah,
Like, for example, uh, for some people, it could be Leo, which is the first house. For some people, it could be Scorpio, which is the first house. For some people, it could be Aquarius, which is the first house. So now a lot of people have a question. Somebody who's just beginning to understand a chart as to what is the difference between this first house and this Aries being the first house.
the
So
natural
the
first
answer to
house,
that,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The answer to that question is Aries is generally a first house, um, generically speaking.
yeah,
But this first house defines your first house in the chart.
yeah, exactly. And in the Lagna or the first house generally represents your body and your posture, who you are. Basically, you. You is represented in the first house. And
Right,
if your first house is in Leo, then your Lagna Lord or the first house's Lord is Sun. If the first house or Lagna is in Libra, then your Lagna Lord, which is the Lord of the house, is Venus. So Venus becomes your Ascendant Lord or Lagna Lord. And this is important because Ascendant Lord plays a huge role in the Vedic chart. and will determine the overall strength of the chart. So it's always
Right.
important to know where the ascendant is and the ascendant lord is.
Mm.
So yeah. What about the?
There may be
Mm-hmm.
there may be people who might still be confused with the concept. A lot of them actually, in my experience, do have questions about this as to what do you mean by naturally first house versus first house in my chart. So, to
Yeah.
give them a small analogy about this,
Yeah.
when you say, um, where is India on the earth? People would generally say India is on the east of the earth. Although, technically earth is round and it's difficult to define. On the world map, India is on the eastern side of the world,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But once you get in inside of India, if you were to say what is on the east of India or west of India, there is an east, west, south, north within India. Once you step inside of India,
Mm.
you'd say this is north of India, south of India, east of India, west of India.
Right.
So you'd say, okay, Hyderabad is in the south of India, whereas New Delhi is in the north of India, Calcutta is in the east of India. But when you take the world map, India itself is on the east of the world map, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when you take the space in general, Aries is considered as the first house, first zodiac. But once you narrow it down to you as a specific individual, that's where the first house for you specifically changes.
Yeah.
And this stops being the first house. Um, to re iterate that, if Leo happens to be the fifth house naturally, but for your chart this happens to be the first house, it simply means that at the time of your birth, uh, Leo was on the east rising horizon. And so that becomes your first house. And Aries is no more your first house, barring some exceptional cases where you would also, as a secondary factor, consider it to be the first house. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and I forgot we didn't go through the numbering. Like we did mention briefly that like if Aries is the first house, Pisces is the 12th house, but we
Mm.
go in a clockwise direction for the numbering. So Aries
Yeah.
is first house naturally, Taurus is the second house naturally, Gemini is the third house naturally, Cancer is the fourth, Leo is the fifth, Virgo the sixth, Libra the seventh, Scorpio the eighth, Sagittarius the ninth, Capricorn is the 10th natural house, Aquarius is the 11th, and finally Pisces is the 12th. But if you're when you're born at the time and the location, if your ascendant is Leo, then Leo is the first house, and you go clockwise from there to number. So Virgo becomes your second house, Libra is your third house, etc., until Cancer, which is your 12th house. And like Karthik beautifully explained, Leo now becomes more significant as the first house. Although Eris does have an influence as first, Leo is more significant. So it represents, for example, all the traits of a first house. Leo would be more significant in that area more than Eris. So yeah, yeah. But your analogy was very nice. It was very visual. Um, so yeah, so we can go through the signification of each houses. What does but I think we've covered a lot of topics already. Perhaps we should
Yeah,
um, end the podcast this way. I know we covered a lot of topics. I know there's a lot of questions that arise, but that's the beauty of astrology. There are many more questions that are going to arise. Um, and I hope that in future podcasts that we're going to have, we can answer most of the questions. If not, even if it's a few questions that we get to answer, we'll be happy. And we hope that we all develop together and learn. Um, and we we're not sure yet what our next podcasts are going to be, but I'm sure they're going to be very interesting. And like I initially said, we're going to analyze a lot of charts, so stay tuned. We're going to bring many celebrity charts, native charts. Um, there may be like specific situations that are happening in a native's life. Why are they happening? We're going to delve in great details and try to see why different combinations give different results. And yeah, hopefully you will see why Vedic astrology is interesting. I don't know if you have final
yeah,
remarks, Karthik. Um, yeah,
yeah, sure. And this first podcast, especially, we just touched the basics, and
yeah,
a lot of our viewers might already know this stuff, but
yes,
we wanted to go through this again for some of the viewers who might have some unanswered questions,
yeah,
and the rest of them who would not have much of a background
yeah,
where they could actually that this podcast would be useful. But
yes,
our intent is to in the future podcast, as you said, is to do more of analysis of charts
yeah,
rather than you know hitting the basics and teaching what Vedic astrology is about.
yeah,
But we might touch those topics too on request from time to time. But this is more of a like an introductory learning slash podcast sort of a session.
yes. So thank you, Karthik, for your time. And thank you for the
And thank
viewers.
you to
No problem. Thank you for the viewers. And this is the Hidden Ascendant. And we're very proud and happy to be among you. Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you.
See you.
See you. See you
See you
in the
next
next
time.
podcast. And
Yeah.
please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you.
See you.
See you.